Hey, had to check what day it is. Welcome to another edition of the Plant-Based Morning Show. We've got a good one planned today. Yet another good one. Lots and lots of topics that we had to, so many that we had to move things to Friday since the special guest is probably going to be tomorrow. So just shuffling things around, starting to feel like real work all of a sudden, but work that I'm really grateful to do. So this is fun. We may have a guest coming today, by the way, not the one I've been hinting at, but we will be having one come soon. All right, Doug has joined me on Instagram. Now he's joined me in the multi-stream.
Hey, good morning.
There are so many things now that I have to have.
I know. I got three screens in front of me too, which
it's your own sound machine now. We need to get you a sound computer, Doug.
I know. It's and we need mixers. We need a showrunner. I'm looking at myself. I'm like, man, I need a haircut. I look so hairy. So I mean, it's just a lot of work we got to do here. But I love seeing. I am very hairy. I don't know what it's a problem, but it's nice to see so many familiar faces coming in. Steven, the whole health experience. There's a lot of the regulars here. This is great.
Yes. You know, we need a producer, Doug. We were just chatting about that, and that would, if someone here wants to do a internship where you don't get paid but you do the production of the show, we would love to work with you. So just shoot us a line somehow. All right. Let's see, Doug. What do we have today? Taco Tuesday was last night. We talked about that. Or no, it was Taco Tuesday, of course, but it was also National Taco Day. I did have tacos last night. Turned out
okay.
I didn't mention that on the show. I meant to. Aaron happened to be making them accidentally, so we ended up having tacos, and they were delicious as always. We talked enough about tacos yesterday. I think we don't need to go into that again today.
Well, you should tell us what was in the tacos. At least what kind of tacos?
It was a pinto bean, thing with onions and other stuff that Aaron makes. I don't know. She puts Mexican oregano and chili powder and some other things in there. Makes it very nice, sauce. And then just the standard taco fixins: the cilantro, the hot sauce, the tomatoes, lettuce. We got a little bit of chow shredded Mexican cheese, which honestly I'm just not into. I'm increasingly don't like those vegan cheeses that are made out of coconut oil and tapioca starch or whatever they are. I'm just kind of over those. So I'm gonna be nixing those pretty soon in my whole house. No one will be allowed to have it.
Cut them from the entire family. Corn tortilla, I presume.
Oh yeah, of course corn tortillas. Did not make our own.
Okay.
By any means, but they were delicious. That's good. I did not double up the tortillas, but my kids did their hard taco shells fell apart, so they did wrap the hard shell in the corn tortilla, making a sort of a crunch wrap. Did not seal it together with the refried bean glue or anything like that. But nonetheless, it was successful.
Nice. All right. So what are we talking about today?
Well, it's Yom Kippur, which I'm only putting here. I'm not a religious, and we don't need to call out religious holidays, but it's a fasting sort of holiday, and I think fasting holidays are interesting. I'm kind of the belief recently that these religious not trends, religious traditions that stick.
There you go.
Relating to fasting, that they stick because they tend to produce healthy people. I know it's not maybe frequently enough in a year to matter, but there are longer fasting traditions in other religions, and I think this stays around because I think it's a good thing for our bodies.
I don't know. I don't know how much I agree with that, but I think it probably sticks around because of generations and hundreds and thousands of years of tradition. But
but if it killed those people before they could produce offspring, there'd be no one to share the tradition with. So it's just associated with people who live long enough to pass the tradition on.
Okay, all right.
Or if it made people completely miserable and their health failed after that, they'd say that was a bad idea. We're not doing that again. But instead, it's something that people say that was a really good thing to do. I'm going to do more research and form this theory a little bit.
Okay, all right, yeah, let's do that before we get too deep into this.
All right. In other news, Aaron Judge hit number 62. This is not really a plant-based story, but I made it one by asking myself. People are this is the 60-second home run, first American leaguer ever to do that. Broke Roger Maris's record, which has stood for I think 61 years. Oddly enough, he did it in 61. 61 years. Is it 61 years later? It is. 61 years later, this guy, Judge, hits number 62. People are saying, is he the home run king, right? Because Barry Bonds in the National League I think it was early 2000s, hit 73, this crazy outlier year. And Sosa and McGuire, they hit into the 60s. and they were all juiced up on steroids. Everybody knows that. So Sosa was corking his bat too. So people, it's this weird debate that people like don't really take all those home run seasons seriously. So anyway, they're saying we're comparing now Aaron Judge is sort of like the natural bodybuilder among regular bodybuilders who unfortunately use lots of steroids. I don't know if that's fair to say, but I think a lot of them, I think a lot don't even test. It's like part of the sport is just don't test. I was wondering if we're so certain that one day people are going to be plant-based, right? The world's going to be plant-based we have to. The environment and economic things are going to force us. Are we going to say this is the plant-based area and all the meat era home runs don't count anymore? We have a whole set of new
No, we're going to be crushing home run. We're going to be crushing the home run record.
Well, even more.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, then are we going to say do these home runs
juiced up on kale?
Right. And so should we compare it to a different era when people weren't so enlightened and didn't know the power of plants? I don't know.
Yeah, they're gonna have to start moving the outfield line and the home run line back a little bit, building up the walls. The monster's gonna be 3 stories tall.
That's definitely what's gonna happen. All right. I don't know. Do you have any strong opinion here, Doug? Sometimes you seem to care about these things.
No, I don't. It's not all that. For whatever reason, I haven't gotten excited in this home run chase. I think that the last one just ruined it for everybody.
It kind of did.
And like I have zero reason to actually believe this, but in my mind, I'm thinking like, how good is that testing for steroids these days? People cheat all the time and get around stuff. So like, how do we know he's not juiced now? So which is terrible because there's no reason to think Aaron Rodgers is, but
Aaron Judge.
Aaron Judge is, but I don't know. I think it was ruined for us last time.
Yeah, I think you're right. He seems to be above suspicion. I think he's always looked the way he does. He's always just hit a ton of home runs, and this year, he barely broke the record, and so it kind of doesn't seem quite so suspicious. But who knows? But you're right. I feel like it did. It totally ruined it, and it's unfortunate that happened. But it did, and it was the era that baseball was. So whatever.
Yeah.
All right, on to somebody doesn't like my theory. They said,
yeah,
I read the theory in a book actually, so I'm gonna go back there and I'm gonna beef up on my knowledge. All right, so this is just a quick one. We've got some interesting stuff for later. This is a quick follow up on yesterday's though. Yesterday we were talking about the new FDA rules and that they were redefining healthy and said that things had to now meet certain criteria. You had to have X amount of good ingredients, which was things like whole grains or protein and whatever else. But relative to that, there were certain thresholds of sodium and sugar and saturated fats that you could have. Well, I found this today. Danone, the big company, they own several of the plant milk companies like what's the coconut one, Doug? Do you know?
Silk and So Delicious and Alpro.
So so they've got a bunch of these. 70% of their plant-based drinks, they are going to be overhauling the formulations so that they can improve the nutrient profile and meet the new criteria so that they can keep calling their stuff healthy, which is interesting because we kind of speculated that people, not that we predicted this. I mean, everyone was speculating that this means brands are going to change their stuff, but interesting that I think these laws or these new guidelines are still just proposals, but they're taking this proactive step, which I think this is a good thing. It means that the idea works.
I love this. I read this morning when you shared it, and I was just overjoyed with excitement. I don't know why, but this is what we were talking about. If any of this kind of regulation and guidelines from the FDA matters yesterday, this is exactly why it matters because just the thought of it, just the discussion around it is causing a large brand that is that has major shelf space, and not just grocery stores, but you can get soy milk, So Delicious, or Silk milk in like gas stations now, and I mean it's everywhere. So the fact that they are aggressively changing their formula to be healthier, I think this is a huge win for everybody, not just plant-based community, of course, but for anyone who drinks that stuff. And I gotta say, they are kind of junk food. Like we get the no sweetener or whatever, no sugar added. I don't know what it's called. The original kind, or not. It's not even original. It's like unsweetened. That's what it's called. Yeah. We get the unsweetened, which is fairly good. But the like original version, the regular kind that is probably most common, and certainly the ones that you get in the little juice boxes, which my kids love to get the vanilla or the chocolate ones as a treat. Like, they are so bad for you. They have so much sugar in it.
Right.
And so I don't know. I just think this is a big win.
Yeah, I wondered about that because we tend to buy the ones that are the unsweetened original. Honestly, the other ones we just don't really tend to like. They're just really sweet tasting, like you said. And so I wonder, this is probably not affecting many of the unsweetened versions. I'm guessing largely this is a cutting out of sugar and then maybe some sort of compensation somewhere else to make it still taste good, whatever that's going to mean to the consumer. So yeah, and people are saying get the thickeners and the gums out of there. I agree, that is a little bit weird, the carrageenans and things like that.
Yep.
I don't think that stuff's going to fall under the new FDA regulations. I don't really think they're looking at that. That would probably be way too specific, since it's controversial. Some people think it's fine. But yeah, I think this is a good thing. Like you said, the size of a company like this, the fact that this stuff is in gas stations, that's pretty neat, implications of new laws that it'll affect food on that level.
And I'm going to take credit for it. I think that we predicted this. I think that they probably watched the morning show yesterday and said, you know what, we're going to have a all-staff meeting, emergency all-staff meeting. We need to change our
I do keep seeing that theme, and as I prepare for these shows, and I go to all different sources to find these articles. I mean, this is from dairyreporter.com, Doug. I'm looking to the far ends of the earth to find these stories. But I'm seeing a lot of things where we said it a week before or 2 days before, and then people jump on it. Even the vegan news sites are starting. I'm wondering if we're starting to scoop them on some of these stories. So we'll see if they report this one tomorrow. By the way, in the multi-stream, Jonathan James, I was going to share this earlier. We had our first Twitch follower yesterday, and that was Jonathan.
Oh,
James.
all right. Awesome. Shout out.
He's blowing up the social channels. He's commented on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook today. All I see is morning show base. So he wrote one word on each of them, but I'll take it.
I love it.
Engagement on all platforms is what we are looking for. So thank you, Jonathan James. Is that the same Jonathan who told us that the Korn lead singer was Jonathan Davis?
Ooh, I don't know.
I don't either. But someone named Jonathan did. I bet it was him. All right. So anyway, so that's the known. That's a big deal. This other one, this is from Food Ingredients First. This is like a food industry site that I somehow found, and I just found a treasure trove there. So they've got another interesting thing here. It turns out that the word vegan, Doug, being used as a claim, a marketing claim, basically on packages, that is up 23%. Last year in 2021 was up 23% compared to 2020. Now, my first thought is that seems a little unfair because 2020 was a little bit of a weird year. So it would make sense that if you did almost anything in 2021, it would be an improvement on 2020. But I don't know what their methods are. But interesting that word vegan is showing up in more of these places. And that's not talking about plant-based. That's talking about the word vegan, which is a word we're saying is maybe falling out of favor a little bit in favor of plant-based. So that on itself is kind of interesting here, but then they break it down and look at these products. And so here their positionings, how they are, like what they're billed as. I guess these are sort of additional claims come with them. 14% of them come in convenience packaging. 12% are also gluten-free. 11% are in ethical packaging. 8% are organic, and 7% have no additives or preservatives. So that's, just in general, there are a large amount of these products, and those are the highest percentages that are shared among these products. So that's kind of an interesting thing. Not that surprising that it would be paired well with these. But listen to this. These are the ingredients that are most commonly found in all these new products that are labeled vegan. The most common ingredient in them, sodium chloride. That's salt, 15%. Not that surprising, perhaps, because salt.
Everything has salt in it. So.
Exactly, right. Next, granulated sugar, 10%. So that's not good. Granulated sugar is added sugar, right? Don't tell me that that's good because it's cane sugar or something like that. I'm not falling for that. Doug has disappeared on us.
I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a pretty firm believer that granulated sugar is sugar. I don't think sugar is better than high fructose corn syrup. You can argue with me about that, of course, but sugar, and that's the second most common ingredient in these new vegan products. Third most common, sea salt, not that different from sodium chloride. It's the same end product, pretty much. Next is sunflower oil, and then next is coconut-other, which I'm guessing is coconut oil, because that's what's in all the fake cheeses that I've started to not like so much. So, we talk about vegan junk food and we talk about something isn't just healthy just because it's vegan. There's some pretty good evidence here that a lot of new vegan foods are kind of junky in nature. This is not new people rolling out new heirloom varieties of beans or new corn varieties. This is junk food. So I don't know what it says about us. It's not a great look, but I think pretty much any food item you pick, these are going to be the leading ingredient. So it's just sort of the world we live in, and maybe a little unfortunate.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, no, I mean, I think it's awesome that the trend is going this way. I don't know that this is necessarily a reflection of new products, right? Because it's just talking about packaging, right? So people may be adding the vegan packaging to the old products and just embracing the fact that we're a growing community and people are looking for that label. So I think that I don't know. I think it's exciting. The more people talk about it and the more people see it on a label, the less weird it will be. And I think that's good. I do want to call out, so no one can see this, although we should start sharing our screen now that we're on multi-channel. We can do that. But when you click the article, when you click the little more thing, the package that shows up as the example is a company called Like Meat, which I thought was a terrible name.
I saw that.
Like Chicken Burger. And but what's cool is it has a Nutra score on it. So I don't know what country this is from, but the green light to red light. I don't know, did you notice that?
I did not.
The like Chicken Burger in this picture gets a score of a C, a yellow C.
Oh, okay. So it's
Anyway.
sort of like the green light, like the labeling you're talking about, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah.
Gotcha. Cool. Jonathan James has I think the rest of his comment was probably on this platform, and he was putting it in all the ones that I only saw on the multi-stream. So he wrote Plant-Based Morning Show, and it is the same guy who told us that the corn singer was Jonathan Davis. I think that's the right name. So anyway, yeah, cool. Thank you, Jonathan James, for contributing to the show.
And for upping all of our stats by getting on every platform. Exactly. I love it.
Exactly.
It's good.
All right. So here's our big one for the day, Doug. And again, we may have tipped off the Veg News here to tell them that the McPlant had failed, and we last time went into this Bon Appetit article about why that might have been. Now it's on Veg News. Take that for what you will. Maybe a coincidence, maybe not. The article, though, is that the McPlant finds success at McDonald's Netherlands. So what's going on with the rest of the world? McPlant is now a permanent menu item at McDonald's Netherlands. Why isn't the meatless option available at all locations of the global chain? So that is the question. It's, like, no doubt about it. There is some plant meat hangover, maybe, is from the boom that happened around the, I think, 2019 time, when so much money poured into it. Everyone was saying plant-based meats are the future. There were crazy predictions, like by 2030, 15 to 30% of the global meat market would be these plant meat substitutes instead, and that we were going to be moving towards this sustainable, eco-friendly, animal-friendly world. That has not happened, and I see articles recently about smaller plant-based meat companies that are gone, right? Something like Beyond Meat, they just sort of lose some of their cash reserves.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But the smaller ones, I think the one I saw today was OZO, which I had never heard of, Colorado-based company, but they're done. In a few months, they will be shutting the doors. So there's a shakeout happening for sure. And we were saying the plant is perhaps their failed test in the United States was perhaps indicative of this. But here's the interesting thing. That was just the United States. If you look at Europe especially, but I guess they're in other countries as well, like in Australia, I think it's launched. It seems like it's succeeding. So the UK, for example, we had said one of the reasons why it hadn't succeeded was that it really wasn't targeting vegans. It was just this thing that was like supposed to be a vegan addition or a plant-based patty in McDonald's, but it wasn't meant to be for vegans. It came with mayo or maybe with cheese on it. You had to sort of work to make it vegan. Certainly cross
fries aren't vegan.
Right.
It's called McPlant. It had a lot of things going against it, I think.
Yes. Right. For sure. But anyway, in the UK, I didn't realize this. They offer theirs fully vegan. And by the way, I think it's still there. They put vegan cheese on it. It's not just no cheese, but they actually get a vegan cheese that they add to this thing. And they cook it on dedicated equipment. And the menu item is certified vegan by the UK's Vegan Society. So I had no idea that that much was happening, nor even that, like, I don't know. We talk a lot about the U.S. kind of leading the way with this plant-based movement, and I think, I don't know. I grew up in the 80s and 90s when it seemed like all of our TV shows 5 years later hit Europe or whatever. It seems that Europe has in many ways taken the lead on the vegan adoption. So
Definitely,
this is happening a lot, and it's as I said, finding success at Netherlands. It is now just a full-time permanent menu item there. So we've got our international correspondent requesting to join us, and I'm going to bring him in now. Put him on the live stream and try to time it the same. If you're a longtime listener to the Plant-Based Morning Show, if there is such a thing, then you have seen him before. Here he is, Stephen Dunn, man on the ground in the Netherlands. Stephen, is your sound working? Can we hear you?
I'm just deciding which platform to talk to you on.
That's the challenge. But thank you for being on both. That way, the podcast listeners will hear you in a better quality than they will if you were just on Instagram. Plus, all the multi-streamers. We can't have Jonathan James' life not seeing you on all three different platforms. So it's good that you're doing that. I do hear some echo, Stephen, which is maybe going to be a little bit of a problem. I'm not sure if it's
If you
have headphones you can plug in, that'd be best. I should have warned you about that. But if you don't, then you can turn off.
That works. Yeah, I'll get headphones on.
Okay.
So thanks for inviting me on. I'm happy to be hanging out with you guys again. Always a good time.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. It's fun to have you on. I was thinking about you yesterday. I'm getting a lot of echo all of a sudden. I'm just going to mute you. Okay, there we go.
I think we're good.
So I was watching a lot more echo. Sorry, everyone, for the minor technical difficulties. This is why we need a show producer.
Exactly.
That would have fixed it. Blame somebody else who's not here.
Anyway, the struggles of multi-streaming.
Yeah, I mean, we knew we would have them, and introducing a guest is one way to bring them about for sure. Anyway, Stephen, I was watching Liverpool yesterday, beating up on a Scottish team, and I wondered if you were at all conflicted. Of course, I realized that you're not Scottish, you're Irish, so I assumed you wouldn't be. But then I saw some F-bombs by you dropped on Twitter, and I thought Stephen's probably enjoying a few beers while he watches this game. Was I correct in that assessment?
Not a few. I was enjoying a beer, but Liverpool
just at all.
Oh no, we've lost you, Stephen.
May have a failed experiment. Stephen, the thing to do, I think, is go ahead and I'll turn you off the multi-stream, and then we'll bring you back onto Twitter. So if you're watching us on multi-stream, different platforms, sorry, you won't have Stephen today. And hopefully this will work. When he comes back, we'll try that again, and I'll do some editing maybe on the podcast version of this. Anyway, the reason I wanted to bring Stephen on is because, of course, he lives in the Netherlands. He joined us a few weeks ago when we were talking about Haarlem, which is literally the city where he lives. They have banned, the ban doesn't take effect just yet, but they banned ads in public places for meat. And we had him on to talk about that. He had sent me some pictures recently of some other companies that were sort of responding to that news by, trying to take advantage of it with new ads that, censored out the meat and sort of tried to attract attention in that way, et cetera. Now he's back. Stephen, can you hear us now? Oh, it sounds great now. Yep. So I'll just edit this in. Yeah, it could have been, and we have many infinite loops happening with this thing, so who knows which one was the problem. Anyway, Stephen, thank you for joining us. I know you were considering going to the busy McDonald's, and I'm kind of glad you didn't. That would have been even more chaos. First of all, did you know this for a while, that this McPlant was there and was working and was going to be a permanent menu fixture? And have you actually tried it? Because I feel like most Americans hear about it, but I never actually see it anywhere. Never saw it. Right. Right. Yeah, for sure. First of all, I think you gave the appropriate level of effort to this show. I think had you actually made the effort to go out to those places, that would have been a lot. To say, it seems kind of far. I don't feel like it. That fits. That's perfectly.
Yeah, but I'll
Google.
Google it, and that'll be enough.
Yeah. So anyway, so when I asked you today, you then sent me immediately some things about Starbucks, pointing out, I think the ad said there's no dairy surcharge. Like, are they getting rid of that there? And then you showed me a Burger King ad that I couldn't understand because it was in Dutch, I think. But it seemed like they were saying all the food was available in plant-based versions. Did I get that correct? Maybe you did. Maybe that's how I guessed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. I'm continuing to be impressed by Burger King. I mean, the fact that everything that includes the chicken sandwiches and things too, right? The picture looked like it. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm jealous. That sounds amazing. I would love to have that here. But I mean, what a big move, right? For someone who's trying to compete. Now, they're a relatively small part of the fast food market. It's easy to make the mistake and think they are number 1 and 2 with McDonald's, and they're just like right there, like Coke and Pepsi used to be. But it's not that. They're much smaller. But still, the perception is that they're big, and I think that's a really big deal that they're catering to vegans and vegetarians like this. So that's super exciting. You have eaten those though, you said, and are they good? Yeah, it's yeah.
Long chicken.
It's just so when I went to Spain in high school, in high school it was called the long chicken at Burger King. Like in Spain, they would use the English phrase "long chicken," but it wasn't called that in the U.S., so I never understood it. It was just a chicken sandwich. So yeah, right,
Yeah.
right. I mean, it is long. It's rectangular. It's not like it's like a sub almost in its shape.
Okay.
More than a sandwich. That's why it was the long chicken. For sure.
Very cool.
Doug, I thought you were going to jump in there with a question. I've got another one, Stephen.
Oh, no.
Go. So as I was reading another article, I clicked the link, and then about how in some places plant meat prices were lower than the original meats, because that gap has been closing over the years. Apparently in June. So I clicked the link, and it's another story about Netherlands, and I was like, this is perfect. And Stephen lives in like the epicenter for for vegan food in Europe, in the world, it seems. So the idea or the story there, if I can find it, vegan burgers are on average 78 cents cheaper per kilogram. So per pound, Doug, what is that? 34 cents. Is a kilogram more than a pound? I don't know. 2.2 is what I know, but I don't know which way it goes. It's 2.2 somewhere. So that's either $1.56 or 37 cents. But anyway, it's cheaper. And it seems like that was largely because of rising meat prices. I don't know. They didn't say too much for sure. Who knows if the price is really coming down on these plant-based foods? We're not really talking about the cellular agriculture stuff or the fermentation, which is the kind of the latest, the frontier as far as technology. And I think that's where the big price drops are happening and need to happen for it to be to be kind of mass adopted. So I don't know if the price of traditional plant-based meat is falling, but certainly the price of regular meat is going up. And in Netherlands, they had switched places, and it's from Pro Veg is this survey. And Stephen, you said you spend money there, donate there? What'd you say? Okay. All right. Well, how about the name? While I've got you on Europe, actually, Doug, go ahead since you haven't asked a question yet, and then I got another one.
Oh no, I was just going to comment a little bit on this. What it was interesting about this article was how quickly that changed, how quickly the price of real meat went up and surpassed the price of the plant-based meat. And I don't know. I mean, I think that just shows how I mean, really everything, right, is kind of fluctuating in these giant swings overnight. Wood, doors, flooring, everything. But cars, of course. But so it shouldn't be all that surprised that meat is doing the same thing. But what is cool about this is just that the fact that the plant-based meats have held steady a little bit more than the meat has, and hopefully what we can find is that these vegetables, things that are just more easily grown and maybe less expensive to grow, will maintain prices a little bit better as inflation and everything changes. But who knows? That's speculation. Just a guess. Yeah.
Well, it's talking about inflation, economics. Sure.
Yeah.
While we've got you, Stephen, there's been an article that's been on my list for the past 3 days to mention, and we never had a chance. Do you know the name Vegan Nation? So they have recently formed a partnership with FC Barcelona on the topic of football, which is one of our favorite topics to discuss together. For the next 3 years, they'll be partnering together. You may not know, Stephen, but Real Madrid had partnered with Meatless Farm, and they were having their ads all around. Maybe you knew that because you may have even sent me a picture of that. I don't know. But anyway, okay, that was that's right. Yeah. So anyway, they also partnered with Real Madrid. But anyway, so Vegan Nation, from what I can tell, it looks to me like they're like a Happy Cow app. I don't know if you have Happy Cow or if you have it there. I don't know if you use it, but it seems like it's that. It looks a little bit more modern, but they do a bunch more other stuff too. And they have circular economy thing where there's some t-shirt company they're partnering with. So I don't know the details, and there aren't many given. But first of all, the idea of, again, the word vegan, not plant-based, it seems like over in Europe, it's just more adopted than here. Here, there's all this resistance to vegan as this ideology and this thing that is so much more than food, and people don't want to get into it. But it's, I can't, it's just FC Barcelona, to me, biggest football club in the world as far as popularity. I don't know if that's right or not. But to see Vegan Nation, like if that's on their, I don't know if it'll be on their kits, but if it's like around their stadium, I mean, that's a big thing for the word vegan to just show up there. So I don't know. This is a big deal to me. Look on Veg News tomorrow. It'll be on Veg News tomorrow, I think. Right. Yeah, that makes sense. That's the benefit of inventing words, I guess, is they just get they don't get translated. They just go the same in all languages. So all right, good. Well, we're at 40 minutes. We're not going to talk about the human fecal matter in a Michigan farm produce. We'll save that one for Friday. That'll be a good one, guys. But anyway, Stephen, thank you for joining us. Apologize for the audio. I wish I could have foreseen issues, but no, it happens, and we're keep trying new stuff to grow this thing, so it will continue to happen. We're gonna have hiccups and things as we figure out what works. But I like the idea of having guests, and I appreciate, Stephen, that you've now joined us twice with lots of good relevant info from the epicenter, Netherlands. So anyway, thank you for joining us. Thanks. Good.
There
you go.
I want to give a shout out to George who left the Facebook feed to find us on Instagram. So he did. He found us so that he could hear us. So.
Okay, good, awesome, good. All right. Well, yeah, like Stephen said, if you ever want to join and contribute to the show, your camera's going to go on, your microphone's going to go on, and you'll be here. But we'd love to have you. And if it's not working out, we'll just kick you off, and no harm done. So feel free anytime to join us if you're here, or just keep contributing by text comments. Those are good too. Yep. And anything live is good. So if you listen to my podcast, I encourage you to join the live 11 a.m. Just about any platform now. If you search for Plant-Based Morning Show or No Meat Athlete, you will probably find us. Instagram, sort of the original where we do it the most. But anyway, that's fun, guys. And we will be back tomorrow.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
All right.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.